Hello, you're watching The Market Bull. Today I'm speaking with Mark Sale, CEO of First Class Metals. Mark, tell us about the high-grade nickel discovery at Pickle Lake and when we might be able to expect more assay results.
Yeah, well, it's pretty exciting. As you know, I did actually visit the Palladium 1 camp when I was over in July, but had to keep a little bit quiet because we're under an NDA with them and they're doing the work. But certainly the core looked really interesting, and they've subsequently put photos out in their press release, which we piggybacked on. And yes, their description of massive sulphide is true. It is massive sulphide, over a metre up to 2 metres in one particular hole that they reported. As far as the assay results are concerned, there's a hell of a backlog in the Canadian laboratories at the moment, but we are expecting Palladium 1 tell us that there should be some assays coming out in the not too distant. So hold your breath. I'm not trying to be obtuse, but I just don't know any more than that at this stage.
That's great. So we've been enjoying First Class Metals updates recently, and it seems the team are doing a lot of fieldwork. What will the recent sampling and mapping amount to?
Yeah, I'm glad people are liking the tweets. I didn't realise how many times you had to do one before you got it right. But anyway, the guys have been really out there beavering away on North Hemlow, following this Dead Otter Lake trend, as we call it, and they've just about finished the over 3 kilometres of strike extent that we've identified. We've taken a lot of samples. I'd like to think I helped them a bit. So those samples are away in the lab. We're looking forward to getting the results. So the guys have actually moved on to a different area. It's the extension of the dotted lake zone that's on Panther's ground, which extends onto our claims to the northeast from Panther. So that's where they're focusing at the moment. And as you might well know, that area where we're focusing sits between Dotted Lake to the southwest and West Pickle Lake to the northeast. So it's a potential hotspot. So yeah, we're really excited about that as well.
So with regard to North Hemlow, what do you consider to be the main challenges there, and how do you plan to get around these?
I think the main challenge is for us in an exploration sense is the lack of outcrop, which means it's painstaking. I'll say lack of access in so much as, okay, you might only be just a few miles away from a road, but it might take hours to cover those few miles. So lack of outcrop, which is painstaking in trying to discover outcrop. As you will have seen from my clips, you know, you walk along, you see some moss, you hit it. If the moss goes clink, clink, then you open it up and take a sample if you feel it's worthwhile. And then, of course, you've got to walk through all the cedar swamp and the forest to get back to where you started, whether that's an ATV or a boat. So the logistical side of things, the geological side of things is a challenge, but one we're overcoming because it's systematic exploration. And then, of course, the other, I won't call it a hurdle because that sounds wrong, but the other milestone that we're addressing now is the exploration permit, which we are currently drafting. We've had consultation with the First Nations over that. So things are progressing on, shall we say, a bureaucratic front as well as a logistical technical front.
Thanks, Mark. Finally, what news can investors be looking out for?
I think the investors won't be disappointed with the news that we've got coming out over the next couple of weeks. So I probably shouldn't say more, otherwise James will wrap me over the knuckles. But yes, we do have, I would call, significant news flow in the potential, significant news flow coming out.
Mark Sale, thank you so much for joining us on The Market Bull.